It's like 12:30 a.m. Uh the day after Christmas. It's Christmas. And it's like 12:30 a.m. And it's turned into night before Christmas up in this truck cab that I'm sleeping in. And I figured it's a great time for a ghost story. It's so stupid. I'm like laying here. I've gotten so used to this. I'm laying here. It's the full moon in Cancer, and Mercury's in retrograde. I'm laying here, and I had just had a conversation earlier about psychic attacks and like the paranormal. And it's no coincidence that the conversation came up because I'm laying here, and then all of a sudden, I'm not getting any sleep. And all of a sudden, I start feeling that I'm not alone in this truck cab. And so I caught it right away, and I was just like, F off. Like, I'll play with you later. You don't make me stay up all night. And then it just wouldn't go away. So rather than what happens is when I start to fall asleep, or when I fall asleep, that's when it it jumps on me, and it tries to whatever this thing is, this shadow demon, or this whatever this entity. See, I don't think I can properly explain the paranormal. I don't think I'm an expert in it, but I do have a lot of experience with paranormal activity, I guess. Here on the Crosswatcher channel, talking about entities, psychic attacks, and paranormal activity. See, when I was a kid, my parents used to manage an apartment building in Los Angeles, and they managed two apartment buildings, and one of them was really creepy place, and it was right next to a a train tunnel that had a lot of violent history. So my father would do maintenance quite often in this building, and then my mom would send me over and to tell my dad, "Hey, dinner's ready." So I would go and I would run through the halls looking for him. And that was probably like the first time I had ever experienced the paranormal, because I used to get chased down the hallway by something that I knew was there, and it was feeding off my fear, and it was chasing me. And I would try to outsmart it by ducking in through vacant apartment buildings, and they were like lofts where there was a door on one floor and then a door on another floor. Kind of interesting. And so I would do that. I would go in one door and then come out another door on a different floor. Seemed to do the trick. And then in those same buildings, I remember living there as a little kid. I remember waking up in the middle of the night, going to the bathroom, and the toilet seat lifted up all by its lonesome, without me lifting it. And and for a long time I couldn't figure out if that was a dream or not, and it wasn't. I can feel it right now. I can feel it. It's messing with me. It's messing with the back of my neck and my back. Um, as long as I stay conscious, it doesn't do nothing. And it's no wonder, because it's full moon. That seems to be when these things get active. And being a I don't know what you would call it, conscious individual, a psychic. I don't know what you'd call it. See, a lot of people will never experience these sort of things, and it's just sort of like the things of horror movies and fiction. But it turns out to be very real. And I'm a very grounded person. I'm very logical. But yeah, there's something about the paranormal world, paranormal realm, that is very real, and they seem to attach themselves to individuals that, I guess, I don't know, that individuals that have a higher consciousness, I guess, people who are awake. And anyways, see, I live in this truck, right? But before I actually, let me back up. Let me back up. So I'm filming this right now. It's 2023, on the verge of 2024. And about 12 or 13 years ago, I had this issue with some sort of entity haunting me and my family. I was living with a girl at the time, and this thing, it just came out of nowhere. Like, I felt its presence, like some kind of shadow demon, some kind of ghost, some kind of malicious, I don't know, poltergeist of some kind. I have no idea. I felt its presence when I was living with my parents. And I remember seeing some things. Like, I remember seeing the cat following a leg one time. I look out my bedroom door and see the cat following a leg, and I thought it was my dad. And I get up real quick, and I look. My dad's bedroom was right next to mine. I look real quick, and he's just in his room. It was nobody. The cat was following nobody. It was some bare leg. I just saw the leg. That was creepy. My mom used to say that the house was haunted by a dog. I I never experienced that, um, but when there was nobody else in the house, I would see shadow figures dancing around the house, from afar, and so it was a little spooky, but nothing really happened. And then later on, I moved out, into my place, moved in with my girlfriend, and we lived in a place that had one wall divided with another house. It was like a house, but it was a double. So we'll just call it an apartment. Two apartments back to back. And then all of a sudden, this thing kicks up and starts attacking everybody, both in my house and in the next door. Six people all together. And yeah, my girlfriend at the time just freaked out. It jumped on me too at one point. It seemed to pick it seemed to pick us off, like one by one. Like, one night it would be me, and then the next night it would be my girlfriend. And so this thing, what I mean by it like would attack us, is that when we were sleeping, all six people, both in the other apartment and me and my girlfriend, when we were sleeping, this thing would sit on our chests and hold us down, and we'd become frozen, and we couldn't yell or whatever, and we'd have to kind of like wrestle free and be like, ah, and wake up all distraught. And aside from that, though, a couple more things with that instance is that me and my girlfriend had to learn to sleep with the bedroom door closed, because this thing would do laps around. We would hear it doing laps around the living room couch in the middle of the night. And then also, when I would come home from work, I would come up and I put the key in the door, and I would hear something scurrying away from the door with nobody home. So it made its presence known. And I remember at one point I was like, oh, let me get a picture of this thing. Back when the iPhone 3, I think it was out, when I had an iPhone 3, and I was shooting pictures from the inside of the house, and I couldn't get it. 9:30 on the clock. Um, Shooting pictures from the inside, and I couldn't catch nothing. Didn't get nothing. And then one day I was just like, I think I came home from work, and I was like, oh, let me see if I can get a picture of it from the outside of the house. And I'm taking pictures of the outside of the house, kind of looking at the windows. And I go around to the bedroom window, and sure enough, I had caught something on that camera phone. And I remember showing it to people at work, skeptical people, and I wouldn't mention what they were looking for in the picture. And every single one of them was like, "Yeah, I see it. It's a girl." Like it was like a ghostly, like the only way I can describe it is that Grudge chick, from the movie The Ring, or the Grudge, or the hair, freaky. And to you know to to have like the movies come to life in your own daily life. And yeah, I remember I had to let go of all that after it did its thing and ran its course. I remember getting rid of it. I remember it attacked my girlfriend for like the second time, and then I in broad daylight, while where we're just waking up. And I remember sitting on the edge of the bed, just heated, just furious. And I remember saying all kinds of nasty stuff to it, telling it that, this is my house and you're dead, and this and that, blah blah blah. Just making a ruckus and putting it in its place verbally. And I remember it lingered for like 3 more days. I could feel its presence, and then it left. Now this was all before my awakening experience that I had during the Lionsgate portal in 2023 here. Um, but in recent months, recent weeks, the entire collective has been experiencing psychic attacks, and I wouldn't be surprised to wake up tomorrow morning and find some YouTube videos fresh from the collective saying, "Oh yeah, I was attacked, and we're being psychically attacked, or whatever." I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to avoid that, but I think it was during when the veil was its most thin during the October season, 12 on the clock. During October, when the veil was at its thinnest. Um, what was that? It's the middle of the night. It's freaky. Anyways, um, must be a car. Anyways, when the veil was at its thinnest, that's when I think, did I already have the Moldavite? Oh yeah, it's a car. Anyways, when the veil was at its thinnest, the collective was going through psychic attacks, and I remember, um, doing regularly doing my shadow work. This channel's all about digging into the shadow, and accomplishing goals on the way to ascension. And so of course I was deep into that. And I remember, and when you go through when a medium goes through shadow work, there's a lot of truths that become apparent, and angels, higher consciousness, intuition, all playing together starts to pretty much direct you, revealing truths, directing you, almost pretty much like telling you, hey, you have to do this. And with those things in combination, truths being revealed and getting direction saying that I needed to take action doing something, I remember I remember just kind of being overwhelmed and saying, I can't do this. No, I can't. And then I remember just I had that sort of weak giving up, like, mentality. And the second I let my guard down and said, no, I can't do this, all of a sudden this thing attacks me while I'm laying there. And it happened twice. And I believe was it the first time? It was the second time where I got up and I did what I was supposed to do. I had to confront somebody. I confronted somebody. I'm not going to get into it, but and then I ended up packing up my shit and going, which I was attacked a few more times while the veil was still thin, living in my truck, commuting back and forth between where I'm at right now and the Santa Cruz area where I would be by the water. Anyways, but the first time in the series when I was still living in the house I was living in, my dad's house, and I remember laying there fully awake, and I felt a presence, and I knew that I was being directed intuitively or by the angels or whatever. By at the time I was in a strong communication with Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and they were always on my mind. I was always working with them, and I remember they were trying to lead me to taking action of some kind. I'm not going to get too detailed. And I remember laying there, and then all of a sudden I felt the energy rise up in the room. Whatever was there, this shadow, this demon, this psychic attack, whatever was ready to pounce. Like I said, I have no idea what. I'm not going to pretend like I know what the paranormal is or what these psychic attacks are. I'm just not going to pretend like I do. But the energy in the room got thick, and there was like this momentum of energy, and then all of a sudden the walls started to shake, and this thing jumped on me, and I was like, no. And I sat up real quick, and I remember yelling, "Be gone!" And oh, dude, just furious that this thing had the nerve to attack me, and of course everybody in the house heard me, looking like a crazy person. And I remember going around, and I smudged the entire house, and I learned that this, whatever this was, I could feel it everywhere it was. I could feel it. And I remember going around and smudging behind doors, sealing off mirrors with the smudge, having to get real clever and realizing where it would hide. That it assumed I couldn't find it or whatever, and yeah, it was fun times, learning, how to deal with these things, and then yeah, moving out, and while everybody else in the collective was getting, or whoever it applies to, take it as it resonates, was getting psychic attacks, I was also getting them. And I don't know if you have a theory on where these psychic attacks come from, or why these shadow demons come out of nowhere and pounce on us, or what do you think explains that? Go ahead, leave it down in the comments. Um, but yeah, really, yeah, I'm just filming this video because it's like it seems like it's happening again. Wouldn't be surprised if, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if more people get attacked. I've had quite a few weeks of a break, from all this, and then all of a sudden, I'm just laying here trying to get some sleep. I'm like, oh yeah, now it's time. I'm gonna get some sleep. But I knew there was a reason I couldn't sleep, and I knew there was a reason why that conversation came up earlier. Because it seems to be the time. Get the moon right over me, right overhead, peeking through the window, and and yeah, it's waiting for me to let my guard down. I don't have any sage. I guess I'm gonna have to bust out the black tourmaline or the obsidian or something, because it's the energy seems to be peaking right now, and I mean, the only thing you can do if you're going through this and you have no idea what to do, the only thing I could say is, just don't be afraid of it. don't show it fear. Don't let the fear win, because that's what it feeds off of. If it feeds off of you letting your guard down. And if you've experienced an attack before, psychic attack or whatever you want to call it. Sounds weird calling it a psychic attack because it's like a ghost. It's like a spirit of some kind, like a demon or something. Um and I'm just sort of over it, you know? I'm over playing these games to the point where it's like I find myself being like, "I'll play with you later." Like, leave me alone. Let me get some sleep, please. Um, but I don't know if I'll be getting any sleep tonight. Um, Fun Christmas present. Anyways, I hope you found this entertaining. I hope you found it interesting. And let me know down in the comments what you think. Give it a thumbs up if you're enjoying this. Crosswatcher talks about the paranormal and psychic attacks. I'd like to thank everybody who's been subscribing. Had a nice flux of new subscribers. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, and tomorrow, after I do some laundry, I'm definitely going to try to put out a new video. And well, Merry Christmas to you guys. Hope you all had a great Christmas, and hope you're planning a fun and safe New Year. And you try to get some sleep. I'll be holding down the fort. Namaste. Catch you later.